Sturtevant, Wisconsin, 9 at night. A man steps onto his porch, and there it is again. Not traffic, not wind. A low, steady drone that never stops. One neighbor described it in a federal lawsuit as sounding like the whirring engine of a freight train parked nearby, heard around the clock, bleeding straight through closed windows. Microsoft calls what's behind that tree line the world's most powerful artificial intelligence supercomputer. The neighbors call it something else, the thing that won't let them sleep. And more than 1,000 of them are now part of a federal lawsuit because of it. That story starts with a promise this exact town heard once before and got burned by. The miracle this town was promised before. Mount Pleasant sits in Racine County, about 30 miles south of Milwaukee, population 27,700, farm country. Corn, soybeans, quiet subdivisions, the kind of town that makes the county fair program, not the national news. Then, in 2017, it did. Foxconn, the Taiwanese electronics giant best known for building iPhones, announced a $10 billion factory here. At the groundbreaking the following year, President Trump called it the eighth wonder of the world. The number on the table? 13,000 jobs. Wisconsin's price for it? Roughly $3 billion in state subsidies, with local infrastructure and land costs pushing the full public tab past $4 billion. Homes came down. Farmers sold land their families had worked for generations. The village and county borrowed hundreds of millions of dollars, grading roads and laying sewer lines for a factory built to run around the clock. Then, the jobs never showed up. By the end of 2019, Foxconn had hired 281 people who actually met the terms of its contract with the state. Not 13,000, not even the already reduced target of 5,200. 281. Most of the buildings that did go up sat mostly empty, used for storage instead of manufacturing. By 2023, Foxconn's statewide employment had creeped up to around 1,000 workers, still a fraction of the promise. Mount Pleasant, meanwhile, was sitting on more than $250 million in debt for land it had bought, cleared, and prepped for a factory that never fully arrived. Some of the roads the village built for that factory still don't lead anywhere. So when a different tech giant showed up on that same stretch of land a few years later, promising to change everything again, you can guess how a lot of residents felt. The second giant moves in. In March of 2023, Microsoft bought 315 acres of that same Foxconn land for $50 billion. The project got a name, Fairwater. The opening price tag? $1 billion. That number didn't sit still for long. By 2024, the investment for the first campus had grown to $3.3 billion. In September of 2025, Microsoft added another $4 billion for a second facility next door. Combined commitment passed $7 billion. Then, in January of 2026, Mount Pleasant's Village Board approved plans for 15 more data center buildings across 2 additional campuses, worth $13 billion more. Add it all up, and Microsoft's total footprint in this one Wisconsin village now tops $20 billion. The first completed campus alone covers 1.2 million square feet under roof. Crews drove 46.6 miles of foundation piles into the ground. They used 26.5 million pounds of structural steel. Nearly 10,000 construction workers rotated through the site over about 2 years. Mount Pleasant's own village president didn't hold back describing it, calling it the largest supercomputer in the world by a factor of 10. Numbers like that make you assume thousands of people must work there. They don't. Back when Microsoft first pitched the project, a company program manager told the Racine County Board plainly, "Job counts at a facility like this land in the hundreds, not the thousands. A data center isn't a factory floor." By the middle of 2026, Microsoft had hired around 375 full-time employees for the first building alone, with plans to grow toward 800 once the second facility comes fully online. 13,000 jobs promised, under 400 delivered so far, growing toward 800. Sit with that gap for a second, and you start to understand why some residents call this real progress, and others call it déjà vu with better branding. To be fair, Microsoft didn't ask taxpayers to bankroll any of it. The company bought its own land, funded its own construction, and hit its property tax commitments years ahead of schedule. It also launched a data center academy with Gateway Technical College to train local workers and expanded broadband to over 9,300 rural households in the area, including next-generation internet for 1,200 homes and businesses in Sturtevant, the same village that would later sue the company. Whether a few hundred well-paid jobs, a training pipeline, and a massive new tax base are a fair trade for what's actually being built out there is a question this town is still working through. Before we get into what residents are actually living with day to day, if stories about the hidden economics behind small American towns are your thing, this channel covers one every week. Hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now back to Mount Pleasant, because this is where the story gets loud. When the hum began. In April of 2026, Microsoft started powering up equipment inside the first Fairwater building. Residents north of the campus began hearing something new. A tonal hum, steady, mechanical, the kind of sound that once you notice it, you can't stop noticing. Microsoft didn't deny it. In an April 15th update on its own website, the company blamed cooling fans running at high speed during startup and admitted the tonal quality of the sound had traveled further than expected. For the people living with it, that admission came a little late. Sturtevant resident Garrett Ostergaard later told attorneys the noise got bad enough that he switched his entire work shift just to get sleep. Neighbor Shannon Hines says she can't work with her windows open anymore. Other residents started running box fans at night just to layer something over the drone. Patios and backyards that used to fill up on summer evenings sat empty instead. Microsoft moved fast, at least publicly. Fan speeds got adjusted. The company said it expected the humming resolved within days. Then, on June 18th, it went further, posting that several neighbors had confirmed what its own monitoring showed. The mitigations had fully resolved the issue. Case closed. Except, by the company's own account, it wasn't. A follow-up posted in July, after the lawsuit was already filed, said engineers were still evaluating sound at the site, still working on mitigation. On July 1, 2026, 3 Sturtevant residents filed a federal class action lawsuit against Microsoft anyway. Their claim, the hum never actually went away. The sound you can't measure. Here's where this story gets more complicated than just, it's loud. The lawsuit doesn't rest on decibel readings alone, though it cites them. Sound near the facility reportedly runs between 48 and 60 decibels, well within what Mount Pleasant's local ordinance allows. On paper, Microsoft is in the clear. But the plaintiffs argue the real problem is something a standard noise meter was never built to catch: infrasound. A hum that sits below what most equipment measures, but one the human body still feels, as pressure, tension, and broken sleep. The filing puts it plainly. Much of that low hum simply doesn't show up on a decibel reading. Compliant on paper, unlivable in practice, according to the people who live there. That's the gap this lawsuit is built on. The class covered isn't small either. Every renter and homeowner within 1.5 miles of the 315-acre site, more than 1,000 properties by the attorney's own estimate. And the hum isn't the only complaint. One longtime resident living across from the site's next construction phase says the work lights at night are bright enough to cut through his window blinds, and the dust sometimes gets thick enough that he can't see his own house driving home from town. Microsoft says it runs street sweepers roughly 10 hours a day to manage it, with tire wash stations at every exit. The plaintiffs aren't just asking for money. Their lawsuit asks the court for compensatory damages, attorney's fees, and something more direct, an order forcing Microsoft to actually stop the sound. Meanwhile, the village of Mount Pleasant is telling a completely different story. Officials say they haven't logged a single formal noise complaint since Microsoft's April fixes went in. So which is it? Fully resolved? Or still there, now backed by a federal lawsuit? For the families living under it, the answer probably depends on which side of the property line you're standing on. Ground zero for a bigger fight. Mount Pleasant isn't an isolated case. It might be a preview. A few miles away, in the neighboring village of Colunia, Microsoft tried to build a third Wisconsin data center. 244 acres of farmland right next to the We Energy's Oak Creek power plant. Residents showed up in force. At a single planning commission meeting, 40 of the 49 people who spoke opposed the project outright. Nearly 2,000 signed a petition against it. One resident summed up what was at stake for her simply. She'd moved to Colunia for the peace, surrounded by cornfields, and watched that peace get put up for a rezoning vote. In October of 2025, Microsoft pulled its rezoning request entirely. A small town pushing back against $1 trillion company and winning, at least for that plot of land. The pushback in Colunia wasn't only about noise, it was about resources. According to an analysis from the nonprofit Clean Wisconsin, just 2 artificial intelligence data center projects in the state, Microsoft's Mount Pleasant campus and a Vantage facility in Port Washington, are expected to draw a combined 3.9 gigawatts of electricity, enough to power 4.3 million Wisconsin homes. Wisconsin has 2.8 million homes total. 2 data centers on track to outconsume every household in the entire state combined. Mount Pleasant's campus alone could use as much power as roughly 1 million homes. Wisconsin ratepayers are already feeling it. We Energy's customers saw a combined rate increase of more than 12% across 2025 and 2026 alone, with another hike proposed for 2027. Then there's water. Microsoft's combined Mount Pleasant campuses are projected to use up to 8.4 million gallons a year, most of it drawn through the local utility from Lake Michigan. Microsoft's answer is that new state rules now make data centers, not everyday ratepayers, cover the infrastructure built specifically to serve them. The Citizens Utility Board of Wisconsin isn't fully convinced. It's early. Nobody really knows yet whether that protection holds once more of these projects get built. And this isn't just a Wisconsin story. Similar noise fights have surfaced near data centers in Michigan and New Jersey. One industry tracker has counted more than 140 organized protests against data center projects spread across over 40 states as this build-out accelerates nationwide. This is what happens when the physical infrastructure behind artificial intelligence, the fans, the transformers, the water lines, lands in someone's backyard for the first time. Towns that used to worry about crop prices are now negotiating with hyperscale cloud computing companies over decibels and gallons per year. Was it worth it? 2 versions of this story are true at the same time. Microsoft will tell you it did what Foxconn never could, paid for its own land, hit its construction deadlines early, became the village's largest new taxpayer months ahead of schedule, created hundreds of stable, well-paid jobs where Foxconn created a scandal, and it's putting Wisconsin, a state better known for cheese and manufacturing, at the center of the global artificial intelligence economy. Residents near the fence line will tell you something else entirely, a hum they can't turn off, nights spent behind closed windows in the middle of summer, a lawsuit they didn't want to file but felt they had no other option left, a rural landscape that in about 3 years went from cornfields to a facility one local official compares to the largest supercomputer on Earth. Neither side is lying, they're just standing in different spots, looking at the same buildings. So here's the question this story leaves behind. It's one that's going to keep coming up as more of these artificial intelligence facilities get built in more small towns across the country. Would you trade your quiet backyard for a piece of the artificial intelligence boom? Not hypothetically. Not somewhere else, in your town. Half a mile from your own front porch. Mount Pleasant didn't really get a vote on any of this. You might, someday soon. What gets built next? 15 more buildings are already approved for this same stretch of Wisconsin. Whatever's happening in Mount Pleasant right now is just the opening chapter. If you want to keep following how small American towns are quietly becoming the backbone of the artificial intelligence industry, one water bill and one noise complaint at a time, subscribe. There are more of these stories coming, and some of them are a lot closer to home than you'd think.